7. Barrett outside, the switch. Doncic goes, oh, what a great step! And then he hammers it home. Broke his ankles.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well. As the New York Knicks came out victorious, they won a game. Who knew? The point of playing games is to come out victorious and win the game. As we go on to beat the Clippers at the Crypto Center or Crypto Arena. I can't believe it's not the Staples Center anymore. 116-93. Snapping a 7-game losing streak. We took on a Clippers team with no Kawhi Leonard, no Paul George, but they still, I believe they came off of a 4-game winning streak, and they still have solid players over there. Obviously, they're not at 100%, but I like Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard's a good shooter coming off the bench. You have Nicholas Batum, who's a veteran, starting. You have Marcus Morris, who comes off the bench. I like Reggie Jackson, Zubac. They have some solid players on the other end. And I like Ty Lue as a human being. I like the way he connects with players. I do not think he's the best of coach. But I'm going to start off by saying the New York Knicks played well, but the Clippers played awful. The Clippers did not play good basketball at all. You have to take this with a grain of salt. But before we officially get into that, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this win. Obviously, you want your team to come out victorious. You root for your team to win, but you also root for your team in the present and in the future. You have to put into context, what does this win mean? The New York Knicks are not going to the play-in, most likely. They're not going to the playoffs. We're not making any deep run. The season's pretty much over. And if we won this game with Randall playing well, Fournier playing well, a bunch of guys that aren't going to be here playing well, yes, I'm still happy with the W because I'm a Knicks fan, but what does that win do for us moving forward? As this game's different. If you're looking for a win that has the young guys playing well, this is your type of win. A win that kind of means something. A win that, obviously a win means something. It goes in the win column. But the guys that played well are going to be here in a few years, most likely. Who knows with the New York Knicks? So I do think this is that good type of win that's good for the present or just moving forward as well. So when you take a look at this game, the Clippers did not play well. We demolished them. 116-93, that was pretty much the game. We took care of them for 4 quarters of basketball. There was a scare, though, that I believe it was 80-69 entering the 4th quarter. We're going to be getting into that. But just a flashback or what went on in the game at halftime, we didn't shoot it well. I believe we're only shooting 43%. We were shooting atrocious from the free throw line. That was because of Mitch, Jericho Sims. They're not great free throw shooters. We're going to be getting into all that happened in the game. But then you look at the Clippers. They're shooting 33%. They shot atrocious. Oh my gosh, I can't speak English. Amir Coffey was their leading scorer, and he had 16 points, and some of those points were in garbage time. Reggie Jackson did not step up. Marcus Morris didn't step up. I thought Kennard was solid coming off the bench. I thought Covington was solid coming off the bench. Those were kind of we were up 26 at one point in this game, and when they cut it to 11 or 12, I believe, they were the reasons it got close. Covington and Kennard were close, and eventually we did take over. But they did not play good basketball, the Clippers. I was really surprised with the struggles of Reggie Jackson in this game. And when you really take a look at things, they did not do a good job boxing out. They moved the ball, I thought, pretty well, but they couldn't knock down shots from the outside. They turned the ball over. They allowed us to score in transition. They had no answer for us in the paint. They were just bad. They were really, really bad. No one was I'm taking over this game. I'm making sure we're not embarrassed. And they got embarrassed in this game because you could say, yeah, we played the Clippers without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, which is true. But the Knicks have not been able to close out games. They have not been able to hold on to leads at all. We've blown leads time after time after time again. And the New York Knicks didn't do that this time. We actually came out victorious. But let's get into the positives here. R.J. Barrett, I thought he played very well. He was more efficient than the stat line really shows. Maybe it shows him shooting 8 for 18. I'm trying to think at the top of my head. R.J. Barrett should have had 30. He should have had 35 points in this game. He had 14 points in that second quarter. By the way, the Clippers, for the first 6 minutes, I believe, of that second quarter, the Clippers didn't score, or they didn't have a field goal. It was that bad for them offensively, at home. Again, I can't believe it's not the Staples Center. But RJ Barrett had like 14 or 15 points in that second quarter. He had 18 at halftime. He had a nice and one. He knocked down a three. This dude was thriving. He finished with his right hand. He was thriving in the half-court setting. He was thriving in transition. But it wasn't just scoring. I love the way he played defense. He just kept his head up. It was the complete opposite of the Suns game. I thought he was completely disciplined. He just had a good all-around game. Like, he rebounded the ball well. He knew when to give it up to whoever was running the show. If it was Burks, if it was Quickly, whoever's in the game. He just did a good job keeping his head up, making the extra pass. Or when the defense collapsed, he did a good job kicking it out. He controlled the flow of the game perfectly. And that's what you want out of your future number 2, number 1, whatever you look at RJ as moving forward. So I thought RJ played a very good game. But he had 18 points at halftime. But at the end of the third quarter, he only has 20, 21. He only gets like 2 shot attempts in the freaking third. We do not give this man the ball. We froze him completely out of the offense. By the way, RJ shot 100% from the free throw line. Did not miss a free throw. I absolutely loved seeing that from RJ. But yeah, he did a good job bullying Terrence Mann. He finished with 24. I just couldn't stand that we froze him out of the offense. Like, we just do that with players that are hot, and I just don't understand that. Mitchell Robinson, I thought he was a beast rolling to the basket. Hartenstein, if it was Hartenstein out there, Zubac, they couldn't contain him rolling to the basket. They couldn't contain him on the boards. Second chance opportunities, just throwing down dunks. He got to the free throw line, couldn't execute from the free throw line. But I thought Mitchell Robinson was an absolute stud. He was a man possessed in the paint. I thought he did a great job. I know he wasn't going up against some superstar, but he got the job done. And Jericho Sims, he comes off the bench. Like, you got to talk about Jericho Sims and Mitch. If you're talking about Mitch, you got to bring up Jericho Sims. They're like a two-headed monster when it comes to Mitch being the starter and Jericho Sims coming off the bench because they're similar players. Jericho Sims has 11 rebounds, sets hard screens. He was physical. He had this crazy alley-oop dunk. His head was above the rim. I thought he played great. He played his ass off. He played extremely hard. I love the way Sims played. They couldn't contain Mitch or Jericho Sims in the paint at all. Evan Fournier really didn't think he did much. We didn't really involve him much. He wasn't that aggressive. Burks, I actually thought he played well. I thought he distributed the ball well. He kept his head up. He does have his Burks moments, but he shot the 3-ball well. I really got to give credit to him. Or maybe to give credit to Fournier when it looked like the Clippers were coming back a little bit. Fournier did end up hitting a big-time 3 to really kind of shut down momentum. But Randall was by far the worst player in this game. I thought pretty much everyone played well but Randall. Like, Randall was inefficient, took the worst shots. Everyone's moving the ball. You give it to Randall, dribble, turnover, bad shot, stupid fadeaway, not taking advantage of a mismatch. Like, he had a couple nice plays of he recognizes a mismatch, he drives. But what can I say about Randall? He just ruined the flow of the offense at times. Like, we could have won by even 1,000,000 points. Like, it feels like we could have won by even more if Randall didn't play this game. That's how bad he was. Randall did not play good basketball. He took dumb shots. He turned the ball over. He was erratic. He didn't score 1 point in the first quarter. He was like 0 for 7 in the first quarter. He did not play well. But let's get into the true positives here. The young guns. Like I mentioned, Jericho Sims. But let's mention Amado quickly. The 21 points, they need to be put into context, though. He had a bunch of points in garbage time because a lot of people are going to be like, you're taking credit away from Quickly, you're taking credit away from this guy. But when you're up by 1,000,000 points, there's less pressure. Like, the other team kind of gave up. It felt like the Clippers kind of gave up at the end, at least defensively. Offensively, they didn't. But Quickly, he actually did a solid job, though, breaking down the defense. Like, he did a good job utilizing screens, finding guys inside. I actually thought he did a decent job as a playmaker. He wasn't completely erratic offensively, but it wasn't just the fourth quarter. When he came in, though, in the first half, he actually brought us a good spark if it was shooting him from the outside, just working down the lane. He rebounded well. He finished with 10 rebounds in this game. He had 6 assists. Like, I got to give credit to Quickly. He really brought us a spark offensively. But Cam Reddish is someone we really need to talk about when this was a 80-68 lead entering the fourth quarter, and we had a 10-0 run to start the fourth. Like, they didn't score a field goal, like, for a while. Like, we were on a 10-0 run, which we just completely put away anything the Clippers, like, any type of momentum they had in their arena. Because Cam Reddish had 15 points in that fourth quarter. I believe he ended up finishing with 17. I like the way he played defense in this game. He knocked down a 3. He did a good job driving to the basket. He had one, like, crazy acrobatic shot in the air that he finished. He got to the free throw line. I like the way Cam Reddish played. I hope to see more from Cam Reddish. We saw McBride. I thought he played solid defense. Didn't get the ball much, though. McBride really didn't get the ball much. And you could say he's an off-ball guard. You could say he's with the ball. He eventually hit a three, like in garbage time. Same thing with Ryan, Archie, and Akino. I can never pronounce it. But the reality is, the Clippers didn't play good basketball. RJ was too much in that second quarter. Jericho Sims and Mitch were too much on the boards. Zubac couldn't handle them. Hartenstein couldn't handle them. Cam Reddish was amazing in the fourth quarter. We hit timely shots. We just made sure they didn't come back. It seemed like we didn't take our foot off the gas, which was huge. I guess the only critique, we freaking froze RJ out of the offense and the atrocious free throw shooting. But we know Mitch and Sims are not great free throw shooters. And I'm sorry, the camera cut out. It was losing storage on my phone. That's why it's like a voiceover. The audio may sound different. But let me know down below your thoughts. Knicks come out victorious. And peace out, y'all.